Hello everyone, it's Karina with Karina Loves to Plan. Thank you for joining me in my little corner of the internet where I talk all things planners, fountain pens, and fountain pen inks. And it is that time of year where most of us YouTubers are going to do our top 3 videos. And I love this time of year as well because you can really take stock of your collection, but also it's really cool to know what other people prefer in their collection or what they've learned in their collection and figure out, for example, today's topic, what my top 3 steel nibs are. Now, saying that, the majority of my collection is actually steel nibbed pens. A lot of people would probably find that surprising, but there's a specific nib that I just love and it happens to appear on many pens. But anyway, before I reveal the whole premise of this video, let's just go ahead and get started. So the first nib that I'm going to reveal that I actually truly enjoy. Now there is some recency bias to this, but this nib wrote straight out of the box. It is beautiful, it's so smooth, and for the price, it's fantastic. Now, saying that, there are some evaporation or sealing issues with the pen itself, but the nib is fantastic. I'm talking about the Jinhao 20. I'm also actually going to bring into the same category my Jinhao 10. The nib on this, for the price of the pen, is fantastic. It's smooth, it flows well, and I don't have any issues with the nib itself. Yes, I do have issues with the sealing mechanism of the pen, but the nib, when I write with it, it's got great ink flow, the line is crisp, it's fantastic. So I'm actually putting that as one of my top 3 steel nibs here. So the first one being the Jinhao. Well, I'm going to put 10 or 20 nib. And why I like it, it is smooth, has great flow, and it wrote straight out of the box or bag, whatever it came in. But the caveat to that is sealing mechanism on the pen is not great. Wow, I can't write today. Not great. But that in itself is not about the nib. The nib on this pen is fantastic. And for the price of this pen, you get a beautiful looking pen with a fantastic nib. So that is one of my choices for my top 3 steel nibs. It is the Jinhao 10 or 20 nib. And I've already done videos on both of these pens. I'll leave them in the description below. But if you're looking for just a well-writing pen or a well-writing nib, this one can't be beat. I have this currently inked for December, and I've put in here Diamine. I'm actually going to just write the ink in here as well. So Diamine Red Dragon. And it's lovely. I have been trying to write with it every day so that it doesn't get, dried up or evaporated in here. But I've used it for work notes today, and it's been fantastic. I really like it. So the first of my top 3 steel nibs, well, not first in line, but the first one I'm talking about is the Jinhao 10 or 20 nib. Now, the second nib that I'm going to be talking about today is a nib that probably takes over my whole collection. The majority of my collection has this nib. You probably already know what it is. It is the JoWo number 6 steel nib, which probably is in at least half of my pens. And one of the reasons that I do love it, it's generally consistent. I can get this nib on maker pens, but also it's one of those nibs that I feel is low risk where I can easily get this ground and then it can be transferable to other pens. So for example, you've got the JoWo nib on your Esterbrook SD. You can get this on a maker pen. So there's a lot of maker pens that have the JoWo number 6 steel nib. Now another, stay there. Another brand that also has The JoWo number 6 steel nib is Leonardo. And they all just work so well for me. Now, if there are ever any issues, they're easy enough to fix, but generally JoWo nibs are fantastic and they write pretty well right out of the box. My favorite out of all of the JoWo nibs though, and I don't even know if I can say that, if there's a favorite out of the JoWo nibs. Oh yes, I can say there is a favorite. I love the extra fine JoWo nib for me. The JoWo extra fine JoWo nib is fantastic. And I like that most of the extra fine JoWo nibs that I have can handle shimmer quite well. Oh, I'm noticing there's a little bit of a, maybe that's a, oh, anyway. But with shimmer inks, I know a lot of people are wondering, how do you use shimmer inks in your extra fine or fine nibs? And most of them handle pretty well. The shimmer inks that don't seem to be very good in my JoWo nibs, especially the fine or the extra fines, are ones with bigger shimmer particles like Robert Oster. Those really clog up my pens. And then most recently, Atono and Limbs, which one was that? Labradorite clogged my pen. But otherwise, Diamine is fantastic for shimmer, and I've used Colorverse as well, and they've worked out well in my pens here. So I'm going to do a quick writing sample. Funny enough, I spoke about Robert Oster, but I'm going to be using this new ink here called Ube Truffle because it matches the pen really well. So the second in my list of top 3 steel nibs here is basically the JoWo number 6 steel nib. And why I like it, it is consistent and found on many pens. So Maker pens, Esterbrook, if I can spell Esterbrook, Leonardo, Laban, and that's on the 325, etc. And I find that they are low risk in terms of, maybe that's not what I mean. Maybe I mean that I can change them over to other pens as well. So they're transferable. Wow, I cannot write today. But also I love that I can get these ground, and then if I'm not happy or I want to try out this nib on another pen, I can easily switch it over as long as it can take a JoWo number 6 steel nib. I'm just going to write the ink here as well. So the ink is Robert Oster, Ube Truffle. So yeah, I do love a JoWo number 6 steel nib. Maybe not everybody agrees with me on that one, but for me, consistent. I can use it in many pens, and it's also transferable. And I like that I can actually get as many of these ground that I want to, and then just be able to change them over into the pen that I want to use. So I don't know, it's just got great qualities all around. And I love the extra fine nib on this one because it's got a really great size to it. And actually, if it went a little narrower, like a needlepoint, I love that one too. But it's just, for me, consistent. And I love that consistency. So number 2 on this list is the JoWo number 6 steel nib. Last but not least, because I think this is my favorite steel nib, and probably, I have to double check, probably along the same price as the Jinhao 20. It's the Pilot Kakuno. And the Pilot Kakuno was one of the first pens that I had ever purchased in my fountain pen journey, and I still love this nib. 1, it's adorable with the happy face on it, but 2, it is one of the smoothest and most crisp writing experiences that I have ever had. And also with Pilot, their fine nibs are just so consistent. Absolutely consistent. They are smooth as butter. Gorgeous, gorgeous. I'm going to do a quick writing test or dip test in here in Pilot Iroshizuku Tsukio. But also, I mean, a Pilot nib with a Pilot ink. Yeah, you're going to get an amazing result with that. So my favorite steel nib here is the Pilot steel nib specifically, and this is the one on the Kakuno. I do love the fine. Look at the difference though, because the one right above, and no, it's not the most scientific test because it's not using the same ink, but the JoWo number 6 steel nib in the extra fine is already a little bit broader than the Pilot Kakuno fine. I love this one because it is so buttery smooth, but fine. I love the crisp line. It's just one of those things that's so satisfying for me to use. I can write with this with my teeny tiny writing and still get a really smooth experience. So great for tiny writing, yet still smooth. Yeah, I love this nib so much. Oops. I really shouldn't film these videos after I finish work when I'm exhausted. So the ink is Pilot Eroshizuku Tsukio. Yeah, I'm a big fan of this nib. I'm actually really excited because for my December currently ink, I'm going to be writing with the Pilot Steel Extra Fine nib. So I'll let you know how that one goes. All right, so that is my list. Let's zoom out here. So there are my top 3 steel nibs in my collection. And I do have other steel nibs. So for example, I have the TWSBI Eco, I have the nib on the Narwhal, I have the nib on the Benu, which is a Schmidt nib, and I also have the nib on the Laban Rosa, which is a Bach nib. And they're great, but these are my top 3. What do you think of my top 3 steel nibs? Do you agree, disagree? Let me know down in the comments below. One thing I will say about commenting is that please be kind. Just because we may have a difference in opinion doesn't mean that you need to come at me for that difference in opinion. We are allowed to have differences in this hobby, and just because one person likes one thing that you may not understand or you may not like, that doesn't make one person's collection better than another. So please keep that in mind. Be kind when commenting. All right, that is it for me. Thank you all so much for watching. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. Otherwise, don't forget to hit that like button and to subscribe. Thanks again for watching and have yourselves a great day.